And good morning. It's the Fort Worth Playboy, and welcome to the Fort Worth Playboy Morning Show. And what do we cover on the Fort Worth Playboy Morning Show? We cover game, pickup, relationships, and sex. And when I say we, I mean myself and my Playboys bunny, who will be here tomorrow morning. We're going to try to cover two big subjects. One, sex, which is a big one, and two, running cougar or MILF game. And those are going to be our kind of like two blocks of instruction or interaction tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. And we always start off with a maxim. I have a feeling this thing's not broadcasting. Maybe it is. There, yeah, we are. Okay. Maxim number 99. Keep pushing for sex until she stops allowing you to push. Chateau Artiste. A very common question that I get from beginners is, should I ask this girl out again? Let's say they've went out with her once, and they didn't actually, like kiss her, but they're like, should I ask her out? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they'll go out a second time. And the thing is that you always want to be pushing towards sex. I'm blanking out on the name of the escalation ladder. You want to physically escalate on each meetup. And as long as you're physically escalating and moving towards sex, then you should keep asking. I mean, sometimes, especially when you're in the beginning, it might take you 3 or 4 dates to get a girl to sex, especially if you don't know what you're doing, you have no skills, and you're kind of like starting behind the 8 ball. Once, when you hear guys that use like my system, or they say that's a 1 or a 2 date system, they have more experience over time to where you pretty much can escalate all the way to sex on the first date within a couple of hours, or on a 2 date system where you kind of like vet them, get a feel for them, see if they're worth your time, see if they're a yes girl, and then close on the second date. But in the beginning, sometimes it's going to take you a little bit longer. And especially it might be with younger girls that are less experienced, because as they get older and they get jaded, it's like, less interesting to them. But again, as long as you're making forward movement with each date, you should ask her out again. It cannot hurt until she stops allowing you to push. Let's say you kiss on the second date, third date, you've got her top off, fourth date, you've got her pants off, and then you meet up on the 5th date, and she's like, no, I'm not really comfortable doing anything. Well, you're not going to see her anymore. Keep pushing for sex until she stops allowing you to push. Again, once you kind of break the sex barrier, all kinds of things start changing over time. The momentum, and girls know this, the momentum starts falling into your favor. So that's what you have to realize is, you are chasing to a certain extent before sex, and after sex, after you have sex with a girl 3 or 4 times, she'll start chasing you. You'll see a very significant, even if it's subtle, change in the momentum, where they start reaching out to you, having excuses to get in front of you, making things happen that never happened before. And a lot of guys, it catches them off guard. But if you know, that's the real deal. So maxim number 99, keep pushing for sex until she stops allowing you to push. I think the what is a dad bod debate has been pretty much settled. And this is, of course, I think it's Mike O'Hearn, which is kind of crazy. This guy may be timeless, because if I remember correctly, he was already like in the magazines, like in the late 80s, early 90s. And he's still relevant. And I could be mistaken that he wasn't out there that early, but he's literally like, he's got decades of time in bodybuilding in his corner. This is what girls mean by a dad bod. The absolute top shape that you can actually physically be in while not being obsessive compulsive about your diet. So you can eat out, drink with her every night, brunch, lunch, dinner out on weekends, never miss an event due to training, stay up late with her, get by on 3 hours of sleep, and never talk about training or involve or judge her complete lack of fitness in any way. That's a girl's definition of dad bod. Remember, less than 1% of the entire US population exercises consistently. That knocks out 99%. If you ever want to be top 1% of dudes, remember 99% of them don't ever even walk into a gym. It doesn't even cross their mind. You know, I'm in the fitness business, and we talk about, you know, people having how much of fitness is a part of their life. Well, for most people, it's not a part of their life at all. The vast majority of people, it never even crosses their mind. You say, you know, you can say the phrase CrossFit and you'll just get a blank. Or, you know, the things that we talk about, like carbohydrate. I mean, they literally have no reference point whatsoever. They did some PE in high school, maybe, but after that, and the idea, you're the outlier. Even as popular as it is today, you're the outlier. But that's what girls mean by dad bod. They want a guy that's in the top 0.01% of shape, ideally, but never ever mentions exercise or diet or training or anything else that would actually involve her or require her to feel bad or limit, you know, the things that you could do with her. She doesn't want to see you eating out of Tupperware for the 750,000th time, you know, that you guys go out somewhere. She wants it to be invisible. That's the real deal. And I also found that, you know, like kind of keeping that stuff low key, fitness, you know, it's good to filter out. I've seen different thoughts on this. It's good to talk about it because it filters out the girls that are not into it. But I also tended to not bring it up that much because it's all I do and all I think about, like, for about 30 years. So that's all you do sometimes. But just know that for women, a dad bod is whatever shape you're in, but you never mention it, ever. So that's the definition and what it really comes down to when they're talking. I love dad bods. Well, they like a guy to be in shape, ideally the top 0.01% shape of any man who's ever walked the earth, but never actually, there's never any evidence that he has to do anything out of the ordinary. That's the end of that. Next slide. If you want to bang a lot of girls or find that one super special just for you girl, you need to stack the deck in your favor in every way possible. You need to speak to a lot of girls. Use every avenue. We call it lead generation. Use every lead generation tool you have at your disposal to meet new girls. Day game, which means basically walking, just being out and about wherever you're at. If you're in the U.S., there's no streets you can walk without being shot or, you know, girls running from you. Night game means going out to bars, clubs, lounges. Online dating, there is no singular source of more girls in less time than online dating. Guys that shit on online dating attempted it and got shitty results, so they don't like it, or they never tried it at all because they never needed it. And they'll say things, oh, you know, yeah, just why don't you just like get rid of that app? You don't really need that. Just meet girls like I do. And you go, what do you do? Oh, I'm a bartender at a college. What? Yeah, I'm a bartender. Or I'm a club promoter. You know, just you're like, well, I park cars, or I work in a warehouse. The youngest woman in the warehouse is 70. You know, I mean, you're like, you need to always, when somebody tells you to stop doing something, especially in the dating and seduction and attraction world, you need to always get the whole story. It's a lot like business. Somebody will start telling you about how they were successful in business, but if you really dig, they actually worked for their dad and were handed a business. It happens more often than the I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. Way more common. So when you hear somebody shitting on a source of girls, you need to always dig into what their real story is. Every guy, every knucklehead that shits on online dating either tried it and got shitty results because it wasn't easy, or by luck or circumstance, they're in a good environment, in the right place at the right time. They're a TA in a college. They're a bartender. They work the front door at a popular singles bar. It's always something, if you really dig, that gives them a strategic advantage to never need online dating. Great. But you do, because you work in a warehouse and you see your mom and you see your sister and you see the dudes at QT in the morning when you're getting your roller dog, and your Pepsi, and then that's it. And then the boss's wife who answers the phone in the warehouse. That's all the women you have come in contact with on a daily basis. So you need to stack the deck in your favor. Use every avenue to meet new girls: day game, night game, online game, social circle game, referral game, friends, sisters of friends, friends of sisters of friends, gym game. You got to work every angle. And once you get used to saying hi to more girls, it'll become easier, more comfortable. And if it works, it works. Again, you need multiple. I've never seen, even in business, everything come from one source. You need multiple lead generating sources to really be busy and to be stable. So you need to always approach it in that manner. You're not going to get 10 from one. You're going to get 2 from work, 1 from the gym, 3 from online. And it's going to keep you busy. There's only 7 days in the week. And once you get this going, you're going to have 1 or 2 girls, maybe 3 that you're already seeing on a weekly basis, at least once a week. So things start filling up relatively quickly. Next slide. Being mentally and physically resilient is a player's secret weapon. This isn't talked about nearly enough. We'll talk about it now. You have to become very adept and quick at recovering from rejection. I always try to compare it to athletes. You see a guy blow a play, let's say in football, you see a cornerback blow a play and he gets outran and it sucks. But he doesn't have time to take 4 hours or a day or a week to mope around and ruminate about the blown play. He has to immediately put it behind him. He can review it later when he has a little bit more time, maybe. But really, he needs to get back to the line because they're about to run the next play against him. That is how you have to deal with women and setbacks. You're going to have a lot of bad situations. Things are going to get blown. Girls are going to disrespect you. It's part of it. You have to recover quickly. It's like Dan Kennedy says, you want to develop a short memory. You go, what happened earlier today? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. You only have your results and where you're at right now. So being mentally and physically resilient is a player's secret weapon. You don't find Playboys that are soft-minded. You don't see guys that are juggling 3, 4, 5, 10 girls that are like sensitive to criticism. That's why irrational self-confidence is so key to doing any of this. And it is okay to fake it till you make it. And there's some guys that it's like shoving a square peg into a round hole when you tell them that you can fake it. I mean, they're so logically minded that they can't actually wrap their head around just fake it. No one knows the difference. And then you'll start getting results and you won't have to fake it anymore. Irrational self-confidence. It's just like sport. You have to believe you're better than you are. And over time, your performance starts catching up to your mental idea of where you're at. That's the real deal. Irrational self-confidence. It goes a long way, but you have to be able to bounce back quickly, not ruminate, not think about it too much. Have a short memory. Get back on the line. Meet the next girl. Ask the next girl out. Take the next person out. And then pretty soon you'll be swimming in pussy. It does not take that long. Being mentally and physically resilient is a player's secret weapon. This is not talked about nearly enough. There's 3 types of girls out there, really just 2. You have yes girls, maybe girls, and no girls. Too many men waste valuable time with no girls. Focus on the yes girls. If you have a little time, work on the maybe girls and ignore the no girls. Girls that give you resistance to even get their phone number or to move them from phone to in person, you need to block them, get rid of them, stop communicating with them, give them no attention whatsoever. If you're not sure if a girl is a yes girl, a maybe girl, or a no girl, you simply ask her out. Or you say, hey, can I get your number? If she says yes and gives your number and says, or makes a date to meet up with you, great. She's a yes girl. If she goes, oh, I'd love to meet you Wednesday, but Thursday works better. She's a maybe girl. It's a yes. So you go with that. If she goes, well, I'm not really comfortable just giving my phone number out this early to some dude that I don't really know, go ahead and block her. If you ask her out and she goes, no, and doesn't give you an alternative time or date, not an excuse. She doesn't, she goes, hey, I'm washing my hamster. But if she does not give you an alternative time, she's a no girl. You never ask her out again. Yeah, okay. And then you just move on. You show up tomorrow with a new girl. So focus on the yes girls. You will very quickly get more adept at spotting the yes girls. Do not be afraid at rejecting no girls. Do not. It will be good for your brain. It's good for your conditioning. When a girl is adamant, I don't want to I don't know you that well. Okay, just block her. No, I'm not. I don't give my number out on here. The idea of being on a dating app is to meet guys and meet women. Why are you there if you're not giving your number out and you're not meeting up with people? That's the entire purpose of it. So if she can't wrap her head around that, you probably don't want her to be around you. It's better to just block her. Just unmatch. Don't get into a pissing contest. There's no reason to explain anything. Just block her or just unmatch. But focus on the yes girls. You'll have more fun. You'll be with girls that are motivated to be in front of you. And it just works out better for everyone. If you have time every once in a while, and you won't, if you do this right, maybe girls can be worked on a little bit. You might ping them. You might reach out. Hey, is your schedule opened up? Great. The no girls, where you ask them out and they say no, it's not your job to give them attention. And you would be amazed at how many men reach out to me and they do not recognize that it's a no girl. False hope. Again, if you are reaching out generally and focused in on a girl that you have not fucked yet, you're not juggling enough girls. You're not meeting enough girls. You do not have enough girls in your pipeline. The only girl that you might consider thinking twice about is girls that you're already having sex with. That is some type of investment. That's some type of value exchange. But before that, you've never even met her. Why are you dwelling on her? Get better. Focus on the yes girls. If you have time, work on the maybe girls and ignore the no girls. And that is all the tweets I have for this morning. If you guys like this, like it, share it. If you would like to purchase, by all means, especially like Bunny's Fuck Like a Porn Star, you can find that at myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com. And if you would like any of my material, you can find it at Fort Worth Playboy bunny.gumroad.com. And tomorrow morning, it'll be Bunny and I right here. We're going to be covering sex and cougar game. And we look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day.